All right, good morning, everyone. Okay, there's something I want to share now. These are an intelligence reports I want to share, and I want you to share this video. An intelligence reports. I want you to share this video. It is very, very important. And even after this video, I want some people to also come and confirm what I'm saying, if it is a lie or if it is true. Now, I want to talk about the activities of this Fulani terrorist. Now, look at this map. I want you to focus on. Now, if you find out, that these places, this is where you have the most attacks of these Fulani militias, these Fulani terrorists. This is where you have the most attack. Now, intelligence report has it that these people attack from.
Hello and what's up guys. In this video, a brave Nigerian has come out to expose something the government clearly doesn't want you to know. It reveals how Fulani militias are secretly operating across specific local governments and even goes ahead to name the exact hideouts where these groups are gathering, showing off weapons and planning deadly attacks. Now here is the shocking part. He says this Fulani group don't own land. They invade peaceful areas, take over by force and settle like it belongs to them, just like in some Hausa territories. But it gets worse. He claims the DSS, the army and top security agencies knows all of this, but are purposely looking away, like say they no see anything. No excuses, no denial, they are fully aware. He also mentioned a particular state, one that shares border with Kogi, Benue, Taraba and Plateau. That is where the real base of this operation is happening. Guys, I will let you watch this video for yourself so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Also, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. Take a look guys, and remember to share your thoughts after watching.
All right, good morning, everyone. Okay, there's something I want to share now. These are intelligence reports I want to share, and I want you to share this video. An intelligence reports. I want you to share this video. It is very, very important. And even after this video, I want some people to also come and confirm what I'm saying, if it is a lie or if it is true. Now, I want to talk about the activities of this Fulani terrorist. Now, look at this map. I want you to focus on Nasarawa State. That's why I have to bold it. Focus on Nasarawa State. Now, look at the borders of Nasarawa State. You see Kogi, you see Benue, you see Taraba, and the rest. You see Plateau. Now, if you find out that these places, this is where you have the most attacks of these Fulani militias, these Fulani terrorists. This is where you have the most attack. Now, intelligence report has it that these people attack from Nasarawa State. This is where they launch the attack, from Nasarawa State. From Nasarawa, they launch the attack in Benue, in Kogi, in Taraba. Nasarawa is made up of 13 local governments, and there are about up to 10 tribes in Nasarawa State. Fulani and Hausa are just settled. They just came to settle. They are not even indigenous to those places. Now, the tribes, you have Alago, you have Egon, you have Gwandara, you have Tif, you have Ibira, you have Basa, you have Idoma, you have Koro, you have Kofia, you have Afo, you have Mada, you have Nungu, you have Ninzu, you have Kanuri, then you have the Hausa and Fulani. They're always together. Now, I want to mention the local governments where these Fulani terrorists are located. This is where they plan the attack that is well known to the Nigerian military, to the federal government. This will show you that whatever is happening is politically motivated. So you can't tell me that Nigeria doesn't know what is happening in their territory, in their border. The Nasarawa State is close to the Federal Capital Territory. It's close to the Federal Capital Territory. So the intelligence report has it that these people operating from Nasarawa, this is where they have their Ruga, their base. Because I've been wondering, how come that these people attack and they go back without any opposition, without anybody stopping them or locating them? Do they disappear into the thin air? No. They are coming from somewhere, they are grouping somewhere. Now, there's something I found out about them. You see, most people they attack in the Benue from the Tif tribe. These people are having serious issue with the Tif people. No, the Tiv people are also in Nasarawa State. Now, in Nasarawa State, you find the Tiv people in Obi and Awe local government area. There's a local government called Obi and Awe, AWE, in Nasarawa State. Now, those two local governments have been having clashes. Farmers and the nomadic headers, this Fulani, have been having serious clashes because of how rich and fertile the place is. This place is mainly occupied by the Tiv people. Understand? It's mainly occupied. So these people are trying to wipe the Tiv ethnic group, the Tiv tribe. Then I want to mention the local government where these people are said to be operating from in Nasarawa State, where they have their camp. And it has been proven. Doma local government area, they are there. Anguwan Muazu, Anguwan Muazu and Yewahil, a place called Yewahil. Now, if you remember, in March 2025, security operatives rescued an abducted naval officer and 2 civilians. That was where they rescued them, in that Angowa Muazu and Yewahil, when they were captured, kidnapped by Fulani terrorists. That is where the security operative. Now, go to Giza and Kadoko. Giza and Kadoko. Now, in this Giza and Kadoko, K-A-D-O-R-K-O. In this Giza and Kadoko, this group there operate openly, holding meetings and brandishing weapons openly. People know that is where their camp is. You understand? Lawyer Frank Utoro made that statement, said that to Frank Uto. This is where they hold meeting before launching any attack. They hold weapons openly. The Nigerian security of military, they know that this is true. Anybody from Nasarawa State should come and debunk me, or from Benue that knows about this thing. Now, Obi and our local government, this is where the Tiv people are mostly occupied. They are having issues with the Tiv people. They are trying to take over those local governments. They are always having clashes. And Jagangari is also a settlement in our local government. There have been clashes over grazing and water rights. Those places are close to the Benue state. So you see how these people are trying to wipe out the Tiv group, because this is a land grabbing. It's an ethnic cleansing and a land grabbing. Whatever the Tiv people are facing is an ethnic cleansing and a land grabbing, because those places are very fertile for their grazing, for their cattle grazing. The water, the land. Then Chabo is another place that is Fulani. So these people that is their headquarters, Nasarawa State. That is why you see the surrounding states that borders them are always having issue, because these people they don't have a place. They just come to take over, to fight and conquer. That is how they conquer places, take over, to fight and conquer. So if the Nigerian government is serious about tackling these terrorists, these people, it's because their people are in strategic positions in the country. Their people are the one in government. So if they are serious about challenging these people and bringing them down to their needs, they will do that. Don't tell me nonsense. They know where they're operating and they need to be stopped. They're in Nasarawa State, in the FCT, close to the Federal Capital Territory. This Yewa Hills is close to the Federal Capital Territory. Yewa Hills is close, and this is where the Fulanis. No, these people are like pastoral. They just walk about looking for a place to settle. They don't like buying territory. They don't like buying land. They think that they can conquer, because that is how they conquer the Hausa people, through war. So they think that they have the right to come to a place and conquer them. These people, they are born with war mindsets. They are born to take things forcefully from people. So they think that they can come into a land and forcefully take things. Now, the main place that is in Nasarawa State, this Obi and Awe are the two main places that are facing serious crisis. And these are the places that are made up of the Tiv people. So they are trying, because they see that those lands are very fertile, they are trying to buy those people, unalive them, and take over their land. And the Tiv people, they are farmers, predominantly farmers. They can't give away their property, they can't give away their land, their heritage, just like that. And these people have been coming to destroy, spoil their crops, destroy their farms. So this is an ethnic clash between the Tiv people and the Fulani headers. That's why they are shifting it to the Tiv too in Benue State. The Tiv people have a very rich, that is why you see, they are the food basket of the nation. They have a very fertile land. So the Tiv people need to wake up before these people finish you people. Even the Jagangari and the Chabo are also in that Obi and our local government. These are thief settlements that want to be forcefully taken over. And the government are not doing anything because they are supporting these people. There are people in government. They are trying to take as small land as they can find. A small land. Are we going to give away all our land to cows? Just because cows want to eat grass. So we should just give away our land for cows. Even Indian people that worship cows don't behave like this. So the government knows what is happening. They know where these people are operating from. And they need to tackle them. They know. If these people must be stopped, Nasarawa state must be combed. That is their settlement. That is where they have their headquarters. That is where they group. In Giza, I told you that in Giza and Kadoko, that is where they operate openly with weapons. They hold meetings there openly before they launch attack anywhere around the country. That is where they hold their meeting. Whenever they make call me, that is where they gather. That is their ruga. People need to wake up, oh. Zoological Republic citizens. You need to wake up. You need to really wake up. This is what Nnamdi Kanu has been. That is why he formed the SN. Because these things were leaked to. He knew this thing. These things were leaked to him. He saw it. Keep playing. Look at the map. Take a look at that map. Look at those surrounding borders. Tell me if any that from Benue they came to Enugu. That is where they operate. All the surrounding borders, they have been having clashes with them. That's to show you that is where they are. That place, that Nasarawa state, is where they are operating from. Nasarawa state, that is their point. The military, they know. They know. They know. They know. That is why most soldiers are tired. They are speaking out. Because they are using, it's like you are using them as bait. So they will go and get spied and unalived. A whole terrorist, Fulani terrorist, shoots down a military plane, fighter jets, and you are here to tag them as terrorists. You are here to tag them as terrorists, but IPOB has not been moving with flag, protesting for referendum, and you call them terrorists. But these people have sophisticated weapons. Let's stay there until they start using nuclear weapons. We don't even know what is happening in Nigeria. We don't know that we are really sitting on a keg of gunpowder, a very big keg. When it explodes, it may affect you and I. So don't just say because you think you are safe in your territory or you are southeast, or it will affect. If you don't stand up, it will affect you and I. Go tell me and prepare yourself. You understand? Tell yourself. You need to be fortified. You need to be ready. Something is really happening.
In this video, I'll be telling you the reason why the massacre on Middle Belt by Fulani people will not stop. Especially when it comes to Benue and Plateau. The only way Middle Belt can stop this massacre, it may take a little bit of time, but the only way to stop it, number 2, will shock you. In some of my videos, I've advised us, the Benue people, to always retaliate. That is number 1. Retaliation, and I've said it in some of my videos. Benue people need to start retaliating. Reprisal attack. Whenever they come to your community to buy your people, we have Fulani community in Tivland in Benue State. A lot of settlements are there that are owned by Fulanis, which they've mixed with TV. The same thing in Plateau State. They have Fulani settlements. As long as Benue people and Plateau people are seeing those Fulani quarters in their communities as innocent people, they will continue to buy your people. And when this set of people that are called criminal or terrorism storm your community to buy you, do a reprisal attack. How can you do this? Go to their own community to buy them in number. So by that way, Fulani will know that they don't have monopoly for violence. As long as they are coming to your community and buy you, all you do is cry, bury your people and complain and lament. They will keep seeing you as coward and they will keep coming to buy you and nothing will happen. And the reason why nothing will happen is most of our leaders are supporting this set of people, and most of our leaders, they are not even supporting them, see this thing as political game, because they use this same game on Jonathan regime. So this present party feel is PDP that is using that insecurity against them. So that is why you see some government not speaking, and some that are not speaking is because they are benefiting from the insurgency too. So there are many reasons why the government will not involve themselves. For example, APC, especially our president feel the insecurity is due to some of his opposition party working tirelessly for them to frustrate his regime. Even when our Totif was talking about the insurgency, President Tinubu facial expression shows that meme that they talk na political thing, no be wetin this man dey talk, na dey worry me now. Shows in his face. Now, the second way Plateau and Benue and the rest of the Middle Belt can be free from this Fulani massacre, which is number 2, is when you start deassociating yourself from the northerners. Don't see yourself to be northerners. You are not a northerners person. Stop calling yourself as northerners, especially the second name they call you, Arewa. Arewa to Middle Belt is a demonic name. They use that name, Arewa, to brainwash a lot of you people. There's nothing like Arewa. Middle Belt are not Arewa. Benue people are not Arewa. Plateau are not Arewa. So the earlier you begin to renounce those names, the earlier you start seeing yourself as Middle Belter, but not North Center or not Arewa. When you start seeing yourself not to be Arewa or Northerners, and you start deassociating yourself from it, you see that the pain will reduce. Because if they can't buy your people, you still they use the eyes of we are one look them, but them no they use the eyes of we are one look you. That is why they go buy you, roast you, because they are too heartless, but you go see they pity them. And now that logic, they know say you get mind of pity. They know say you they see them as one person. That is why they maltreat you. So you need to stop seeing yourself as northerners. And look at 13 people massacre in Plateau State. After waiting, we don't cry for Benue people, they still go Plateau State, go buy 13 people. I don't know how true is this. I saw this in parallel news, and the news claimed that after President Tinubu leave Benue State, they strike Benue State again. So they will continue to strike you if na no do these two things.
Nigeria is a very cruel place to live right now, and I'm unapologetic about this. Nigeria, on any given day, depending on the state you live, can be a very dangerous place to live. I'm convinced that the people who still live in Nigeria, specifically those living in the Plateau and Benue State, really love their homes and wants to protect their heritage, and that's why they stay behind. Because it doesn't make sense to me anymore how the people can be so wicked towards one another, and how the government is sitting aloof at these tragic occurrences, ladies and gentlemen, pretending to act. It looks as though tragedy is normalized by the Nigerian government at this point. What is the value of human life in Nigeria, and what is the role of the government of the day? How do you lock up people in their homes and marketplaces and set them on fire and still have the conscience to say you are part of a country? How does these perpetrators get away with it all the time? What can motivate a group of people to go on an attack without provocation and end the lives of many innocent farmers? Ladies and gentlemen, it's confusing. The whole of the country, Nigeria, is a crime scene. Just a few days ago, between June 13th and 14th, more than 150 people were killed in a brutal attack in Yelewata in Benue State in Nigeria. This attack was orchestrated by Fulani herders on the local farmers. The Fulani herdsmen went to their homes and market centers in the night, locked them up and set them on fire. The victims got burnt beyond recognition, ladies and gentlemen. This violence is a long-standing one over land and water, unraveled in ethnic and religious dispositions. The Fulanis executed the people on their own judgment and fled with no fear of repercussions. The president of Nigeria, ladies and gentlemen, President Tinubu, described the attack as senseless bloodletting and pledged to take decisive action. And I wish, ladies and gentlemen, I understood what decisive action meant by this president. This year alone, from April, multiple death attacks have already occurred, taking more than 20 lives at a time. So I honestly would like to understand what decisive action means by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It's been 4 days gone already since the incident happened, and the only information we have at this point is that the federal and state government deploying troops to that place and conducting investigations. Ladies and gentlemen, investigations which normally end up in nothing. We would like to know the details of the investigations and the actions taken by the government to bring justice to the deceased and their families. Many are at this point left homeless and devastated in their own homeland. But there is a bigger picture, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to bring to your attention. Let me give you these facts about attacks and deaths in Nigeria since President Tinubu became president. Please listen to this. President Ahmed Tinubu was sworn in as Nigeria's 16th president on May 29th, 2023. In his first 45 days, that is from May 29th to July 13th, 2023, there were over 600 killings by non-state actors, which involved bandits, insurgents, and militias. 600 men and women and children were murdered in the first 45 days of his office. Then by December of 2023, 5,135 deaths were recorded. From April of this year, in Plateau State, Bono and Zamfara State, altogether combined for 10,217 deaths from gunmen attacks in Tinubu's first 2 years in office, according to Amnesty International. It appears as though these bandits were waiting for his presidency to activate the attacks. This is because from 2019 to 2023, under the previous president, Buhari, the total number of deaths in such attacks were about 2,601. But for few months after he was sworn in as president, the death toll took on a spike. Why is this so, ladies and gentlemen? Does Nigerians living in certain states lives matter? Like all of them. All over the northern and central part of Nigeria, there is growing concern and pressure to enforce the laws that prohibit open grazing, but nothing is being done about it. There is an urgent need for the creation of grazing reserves and expansion of ranches in northern Nigeria, and nothing is being done about it. Ladies and gentlemen, the Fulani herdsmen move their cattle to people's farms and graze on people's crops at will, and nothing happens. Ladies and gentlemen, there are reports of killings happening every day in Nigeria on these incidents, and nothing is done about it. Ladies and gentlemen, these Fulani herdsmen are armed to the teeth. They threaten, kill, rape, and kidnap at will, and nothing is done about it. They have no grazing reserves of their own. They are not interested in changing their ways of keeping animals, apart from the open grazing method they've done since inception, and they are not willing to change. Ladies and gentlemen, they therefore continue to move from place to place every day in search of new grazing lands. And when the dry season is in and they cannot find grass, fresh grass for their animals, they move their animals into people's farms and destroy them. This is the reality on the ground. They made similar moves in Ghana and had to be dealt with in the harshest way by the local people and the police to deter them. Ladies and gentlemen, what has the Nigerian police been up to all this while? And surprisingly, this is not an isolated case. When you go to Mali, in the regions of Mopti and central Mali, violence between Fulani herdsmen and Dogon Dambara farmers are very common. In the north and eastern regions of Burkina Faso, similar incidents are always recorded. In the far north and northwest regions of Cameroon, Fulani herdsmen are accused of militia attacks. Same in Ivory Coast and in Senegal. This has become a West African plague, ladies and gentlemen. How do we permanently deal with this? How do we end this? Ladies and gentlemen, if this bothers you, let us hear from you in the comment section. It is estimated that the total population of Fulanis are between 20 to 25 million across West and Central Africa, with an illiteracy rate of between 73% to 86% among their women and men. They have one of the highest fertility rates in the whole world. In Nigeria, the average Fulani woman has 8 children. Ladies and gentlemen, their population is constantly rising because of the age at which they begin to give birth. By age 20, the average Fulani girl has at least 3 children, with very minimal plans of getting an education and living a different lifestyle from the nomadic. This is their condition, and at 8% only of Nigeria's current population, these are the challenges Nigeria has to deal with. So then what happens, ladies and gentlemen? What then will be the situation in Nigeria when their population increases from 8% to 20%? Ladies and gentlemen, there must be a deliberate government policy to get them interested in other things apart from keeping animals in the nomadic sense. That is the problem. And to receive the type of education that can assimilate them into civil society. The world has evolved. Things have changed. They cannot continue moving freely from one grazing site to the other. This cannot continue. It is not sustainable. It cannot be allowed and continue, whether in Nigeria, Mali, Ghana, Ivory Coast, or Senegal. This must stop. The killings in Nigeria are already too many. If the government doesn't quickly come up with a workable plan in the foreseeable future and to put an end to this, the people will have no options than to protect themselves at all costs or to retaliate whenever there is an attack. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the realities. And the people cannot vacate their homes for any reason, including threats. Nigeria's internal security is simply broken. It is obvious the ruling government cannot be the one to correct it. The current regime is seen by many as compromised. They are compromised to the highest level. No matter the level of aid or financial assistance provided them, they are unable to bring this to an end. Some believe it is because the very government is in support of the Fulanis. There must be a change, ladies and gentlemen. In Nigeria, crisis in Nigeria has become a regional crisis, and that's why people like myself and many others are speaking about these happenings. We are worried for the people who live in the states where these things happen, and we are also worried for whenever there is a spillover into our own countries. Ladies and gentlemen, we must be worried and we must demand accountability. Our condolences go out to all those who have lost families and homes and their sources of livelihoods at this point. We will be your original voice when your government turns a blind eye on your circumstances. Something must drastically change in Nigeria sooner than later. It's time, ladies and gentlemen, for change to happen in Nigeria.